Let's say that we have a variable a, and it equals b plus c. In reactive programming, if the value of b or the value of c changes, the value of a is recomputed automatically. Meteor implements this functionality in the deps package, and it uses functions. So inside of a function, if a dependency changes, like in this example, b or c, then the function can be rerun, returning a new result, and we can assign that result, in this case, to a. Let's look at an example that will make it more clear. I've created a function here called add, and you can think of add as a simple spreadsheet add function. So we're going to pass in the name of the first cell, and then we'll pass in the name of a second cell, and we want to return the sum of the values of these two cells. So down below the add function, I'll print to the console the result, and we'll create a variable called result, which is assigned to calling add. And the first cell we'll say is A, and the second cell is B. Now we could pass in numbers here and just add the numbers, but what we're actually going to do is grab the values of these cells from a different data structure. So the default function just returns 0, and if you look over in the right in the browser, you can see the result is currently 0. So what we want to do here is grab these values from a data source, and these data sources that are reactive have a special name called reactive data sources. So what we're going to do is we'll say a is equal to session.get, and we'll grab the first cell. So this will grab the value of a, then we'll create another variable called b and get the value from session of the second cell. And then instead of returning 0, we'll return the result of calling a plus b. Now just in case session doesn't have a or b defined, let's default the value to 0. Okay, over on the right we can see that the result is still 0. Now what I want to do is to change the value of a or b. So what I can do is change the value in the reactive data source. And the reactive data source in this case is session. So I can call session.set, and let's change a's value to, say, 5. Now the result wasn't recomputed. You can see that nothing else was printed to the console. And what we want is to be able to rerun the add function if one of the dependent data source values changes. In this case, we changed the value of a to 5, and so we'd like to rerun that add function automatically. The way we can do that in Meteor is by running this code in a callback function. And the callback function gets passed into deps.autorun as a parameter. Over on the right, you can see when the browser refreshes, the result is now 5 because we've changed the value of a to 5. Now let's go ahead and set the value of b to something else. Let's just say 4. This time, the add function is rerun, and you can see the result is now changed to the value 9. So this line here is getting printed from our console.log. And the reason it gets printed twice is because we've put this function inside of a deps.autorun. And inside the add function, we use something called a reactive data source. In this case, we're using session. And session is just a key value store that is client only. It runs in the browser. So we can call get and set on session, and if we call set and change the value of the first cell, this function will be rerun and the new result will get returned. So the key takeaway here is that this happens at the level of a function. And anytime I change the value of one of the reactive data sources inside that function, the function will be rerun. And in this case, the add function is rerun and we print out the new result to the console. In the next couple of videos, we'll look more closely at how dep's autorun works, in combination with reactive data sources like session, to allow changes in data to propagate seamlessly through our applications without us having to think too much about it.